The Arizona heat still radiated from the asphalt as Officer Jaylen Woods navigated the rental Dodge Hellcat through Tempe's entertainment district. He had just landed hours ago, his mind on celebrating a friend's birthday, a rare respite from his own duties with the Chicago Police Department. The night was young, the streets buzzing with other cars, their engines occasionally roaring louder than his own. Suddenly, the flash of red and blue lights filled his mirrors. Sighing, he pulled over. The reason was baffling: chirping your tires. Jaylen, a cop himself, knew this was a minor infraction, if that. As two officers approached, he remained calm, identifying himself as police. The interaction immediately turned tense. "I'm pulling you over for what?" "For tripping your tires," Jaylen asked, his voice a mix of confusion and frustration. "You did. That's why I told you we were stopping you," the officer replied dismissively. Jaylen tried to explain he had broken no law, had just rented the car, and was on his way to a birthday. But his explanations were met with commands. "When I'm asking you to sit down and you're like, 'I don't have to.'" "I don't want to," one officer challenged. "I don't have to sit down," Jaylen asserted, knowing his rights. The standoff escalated quickly, the officers' demeanors hardening as he, a black man, dared to question their authority.
더 컨프런테이션은 더 커브 인텐서파잇.
Jaylen's professional composure began to crack under the absurdity of the situation. "I'm glad I didn't bring my gun," he stated, the words heavy with unspoken truth. "I know that, 'cause I know y'all would have threw me on the floor, all type of stuff." He was acutely aware that his identity as a police officer was not protecting him. His black skin was defining him. As he was placed in handcuffs, the surreal nature of the moment hit him. "All 30 years of my life, I've never been in handcuffs before," he told them. Meanwhile, other cars, some revving their engines more loudly, drove past without a second glance from the growing number of officers on the scene. The real reason for the stop seemed to hang in the air, unspoken but palpable. Was it the black skin? Maybe the locks? Perhaps the fact he knew the law? Possibly all three. He was told his car was being impounded for 20 days, citing a state law he knew didn't apply. He was under arrest for a misdemeanor charge of racing on highways, aiding, and abetting. The pretext was thin, but the result was devastatingly real. Only after spending the night in jail did the full weight of the injustice settle on Jaylen Woods. The racing charge was quickly dismissed by prosecutors who recognized the lack of evidence. But the damage was done. Back in Chicago, he was placed on administrative leave. The ordeal had left him with a bacterial infection and deep emotional distress. He filed a lawsuit against the Tempe police, alleging violations of his First, Fourth, and 14th Amendment rights, alongside claims of false arrest, malicious prosecution, and racial discrimination. The lawsuit peeled back the layers of the pretextual stop. It argued the tire chirp was merely an excuse to investigate him for something else. There was no state law requiring a 20-day impound for such a minor infraction. The claim stated the officers wanted to conduct an inventory search in the hopes of finding something more serious to charge him with. This is a classic and often banned tactic used disproportionately against black people and minorities nationwide. A stop for a minor violation as a pretext for a deeper, unwarranted investigation. The system's mechanisms for accountability were turned into weapons against him. After Officer Woods, through his attorney, filed the legally required notice of his intent to sue the city, the Tempe police retaliated. They called his superiors at the Chicago Police Department, resulting in him being investigated by Internal Affairs. This move was a stark demonstration of the very bias he alleged. It suggested a coordinated effort to tarnish his professional reputation and intimidate him into dropping his claim. If proven in court, this retaliation would powerfully support his original argument that the entire interaction, from the traffic stop to the phone calls, was intentional, targeted, and discriminatory in nature. The message was clear: they could do what they wanted, and anyone who challenged them would face consequences. They just doing what they do and nobody's going to check him. That's the attitude, as one commentator noted. The incident, and its aftermath, showed a system acting with a sense of impunity. For many observers, the footage and the ensuing saga were more than a story of one man's wrongful arrest. It was a microcosm of a centuries-old problem. Jaylen's own admission in the heat of the moment, "I know y'all would have threw me on the floor," was a chilling acknowledgement of a reality known to many. An officer on the scene even conceded that in other circumstances, the outcome could have been violently different. This case forced a public conversation about the original DNA of policing agencies, which many historians trace back to slave patrols designed to protect property and control black populations. The argument was made that this foundational history informs modern policing culture. The pretextual stop, the escalation, the retaliation, all were seen by critics as a continuation of that historic role. Officer Jaylen Woods' lawsuit became more than a quest for personal justice. It was a challenge to a deeply entrenched system. His experience, as a black man and a police officer, uniquely highlighted the pervasive nature of racial profiling, proving that not even a badge can shield a person from the color of their skin.